So the Prime Minister describes the American President as a well-wisher of India. The point that was being made was the two powerful democracies working together for Manav Jati ka Kalyan. It's not just to benefit the people of India. It's not just to benefit the people of the United States of America, but to benefit the entire humankind. हम मिलकर विश्व के लिए कुछ बड़ा कर सकेंगे. That's the point that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is making at the White House, Rahul. And this is where like those ministers you've been interviewing, whether Rajiv Chandrasekhar or Ashwini Vaishnav, they've been talking about something big happening, more than just one deal. It seems Prime Minister Narendra Modi has an ace up his sleeve here, Rahul.
Oh, absolutely. The bilateral talks are currently underway at the White House Oval Office, which is where we were moments before. Now, there's something interesting I want to show. I'm not 100% certain that this is of interest to everyone watching, but it's of a lot of interest if you're in the media, which is this setup at the back. We're currently just strolling around the White House, which I think is quite a rare privilege. You don't often just get to walk around the White House in this fashion. We're waiting for that bilateral meeting to get over. But here's what I want to show. Each American network really has this one stand corner. Think of this as Vijay Chowk in an Indian context, where we're out in the rain, we're out in the cold, we're out in the sun, and each of these networks, we can't go any further, Kirpat, but each of these networks is got its own shed, and they do their lives from here. So I'm just hoping that people, the powers that be, are watching at the right time. And if you could have something like this in India, it would be really, really nice, because everybody's comfortable, they can sit, they can do their shows, they can do their lives and not get soaked and drenched. So I just want to show this at the back once. Okay, so I want to go across live and exclusive at this moment to a senior minister in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's cabinet in New Delhi. Smriti Irani ji now joins us. Smriti ji, welcome to India today. We're live from the White House, and apart from everything else, it almost seems as if Prime Minister Modi has just the most wonderful luck that is possible. I must tell you that, and I'll tell you why I'm saying this, it was raining all through the morning. All the while when we were doing our lives, it kept raining, drizzling, not torrential, but a definite rain. And just in those few moments when the Prime Minister came out with the American President, the rain gods just held their fury for those 15-20 minutes when the ceremonial guard of honor, the initial statements happened, and now it started raining again. It is quite remarkable. What are you making, ma'am, of what we've seen at play, a huge amount of bonhomie between the Indian Prime Minister and the American President in display, not just at the White House Oval Office, but even at the lawns of the south lawns of the White House? Smriti ji, welcome.
Well, I think the gods have conspired to make sure that the visit is extremely grand and successful. As you know that there is an Indian belief that when something very auspicious is to happen, the rain gods make their presence felt. The fact that the Indo-US relationship cannot be looked upon myopically only from a strategic cooperation vis-a-vis defense today begets a conversation around new opportunities that we have with this bilateral relationship. One in the sector of AI, another in the sector of semiconductors, then there is the sector of quantum computing and physics, then there is an opportunity in the green hydrogen mission, then you see an opportunity in biotechnology that Indian pharmaceutical companies are currently manufacturing in 14 locations around the United States of America, speaks volumes about the potential that is yet to be unleashed, that 40% of generic drug formulations in the US emanate from India, again speaks about our healthcare capacities that can be leveraged for the US market, that we have 200 active collaborations between Indian and US labs, again cements my position vis-a-vis healthcare, that a nation state which was a part of a cartoon years ago when it came to India's space mission, where I still remember a legendary cartoon behind a glass door which said NASA, was an Indian farmer with a cow trying to knock and find a way in, to now The Economist at the front page putting President Biden and India depicted as a tiger. We have come a long way.
Oh, absolutely. And I must also just spend a moment, discussing with Smriti ji and everyone watching at this moment, the reactions at the White House and the general security, because the last time they were being similar, not entirely, but even remotely similar to what we've seen this Pope had come to the White House. Ordinarily, you don't see anything similar to these hundreds of people who'd come to the White House, all of them chanting Modi, Modi, and you're an elected politician yourself, Smriti ji, that most certainly has an impact on someone like a President Biden when he talks to Prime Minister Modi, because not just back home but even here in the US, these are American voters, they're not Indian voters, most of them, the vast majority American voters, non-stop continuing to chant Modi, Modi, and that really would at some level make someone like anybody standing over there part envious and part amazed by the kind of popularity that Prime Minister Narendra Modi enjoys, not just back home but even here amongst the Indian American community who don't even vote for him back home.
I think it's quite fascinating that you enunciate how the house is of Biden's, but the chant is that of Modi. This is the charisma that the Prime Minister manifests not only in India here with the citizenry that has supported him incessantly, but also the impact he has on the Indian diaspora. I'm extremely grateful to fellow Indians who have declared what capacity India has through their services in the United States of America as productive part of the US economy. But at the same time, I think their chants on the lawns of the White House most definitely must be fascinating for American politicians, that this is a man that unites people irrespective of the geographical divide that they are party to currently.
I just have one more thing to show you. You've been I&B Minister in the past, Smriti ji. This is of immense interest to me and hopefully to you as well. These are sheds that they've put up of different networks, one by one. Each has this nice shed. They can stand over there, covered, not out in the open, in the rain or in the cold and the heat like in Delhi. So something like this would actually be wonderful. I've been itching to tell somebody in a position of power since the time I saw this. This is a good idea. I hope we can have something for the Indian media back home as well. It has a wonderful view overlooking the White House, but it just ensures that everybody is nicely protected. But anyway, that's just a point. I just wanted to ensure that it goes back and then hopefully somebody takes
I
notice
will only
of
say
this.
this.
Also, despite not being in a formal alliance with the...
Rahul.
Yes, Smriti ji.
As in, not only as the erstwhile I&B minister, but also as the erstwhile media personnel lugging cameras behind her, trying to get an interview or two from celebrities. I empathize with what you so desire on international lawns, but I will say Indian media itself has come a long way now. You were saying?
Yeah, no, most certainly. We're just strolling around the lawns. I mean, the Prime Minister is currently meeting President Biden inside the Oval Office. That's likely to go on, and the Indian media is happily walking around the White House while we wait for that to happen. Yeah, no, we don't want to pitch our tents. If we could pitch our tents, as long as somebody allows for a tent like that to be put up, I think all our political reporters who are out in the cold, in the heat, in the winter, outside Parliament House at Vijaychong would really appreciate it. But let's come to the...
Gone are the comfortable days of the UPA, yes.
Okay. So The ministers also working hard. Sab dhakke kha rahe, media bhi thode se dhakke kha, which is fine too. That works as well. But I want to focus on the fact that there is so much technology being made available by Washington as part of this evolving relationship to India, despite not being in any formal alliance structure with the US. India making very clear it neither is a formal alliance partner of the US, nor does it at any point in time in the future want to be. Foreign Minister Jaishankar enunciating that very clearly. And despite that, and despite the pushback that he's seen from the likes of Bernie Sanders and some other Democrat leaders, President Biden very focused on wanting to take the India-US relationship to the next level and not letting naysayers pull the relationship down.
I think, Rahul, we've reached a point and we are at the precipice of history where today the world recognizes that if you do not share in technology with India or Indians, we as Indians have the capacity to innovate on our own. It is best to have us as partners. It is best to serve the cause of humanity in a collaboration than create situations that are adverse to technological needs and societal needs, including its economic impact. तो आप अगर हमें देंगे नहीं तो हम खुद निर्माण करना जानते हैं. I think that message India gave, especially during the pandemic. And I say this because COVID was a situation where it was a once in a lifetime described by many as a pandemic, where pharmacological needs is something that many nations were confronted with. India made the vaccine for herself, deployed over 2 billion doses for her own citizenry through technology, but also serviced the vaccine needs of over 160 countries. In times of disruption between Russia and Ukraine, India did not hold supply chains geopolitically hostage. I think we've done much to show that we are a democracy that delivers digitally and physically under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, but at the same time we ensure that we also deliver geopolitical needs when it comes to issues which help save the larger interest of humanity. So India has come a long way, created bonhomie collaboration between many nation states. Even in our G20 presidency, we do not only service the cause of the G20 universe and family, we talk about taking African nations and their needs along. We talk about island nations. So ours is a collaborative attempt at democracy, which has been appreciated by many world leaders.
You know, world powers, especially Beijing, would be keeping a very close eye on these deliberations that are currently underway at the Oval Office in Washington. What do you think is the message, ma'am, India and the United States are sending to Beijing and to the rest of the world in the manner in which they are deepening their ties through Prime Minister Modi's visit to the US this time?
I don't speak for President Biden, but what I know of Prime Minister Modi is this. We never looked upon our capacities as an affront to any other nation state. When Prime Minister Modi says make in India, he says make it for the world. We recognize that we have our own potential to leverage and unleash. We recognize that we do not want to be a political pawn on a geopolitical chessboard. We today unabashedly speak about India's needs and prioritizing strategies to benefit India. We don't do it as a part of blocks of nations. We have individualized our geopolitical position. It is a fine balance that Prime Minister Modi has managed to achieve, not as an affront to any nation state, either in the neighborhood or globally, or not as a party to another nation state's development, where we are reduced to just another economic stepney to another country's needs.
Smriti Irani ji, on a historic day, when quite literally history is being written before our eyes, for taking our time and joining us on India Today as part of our live and continuing coverage of Namaste Modi. Thank you very much. Deeply appreciate you taking our time.
It's a proud day for Indians, and thank you for your report.
Oh, most certainly. It is absolutely a proud day. Modi, Modi chants